Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. How is everybody doing this fine spring afternoon? Doing good? Yeah, all right. I know it's a little windy out there, a little chilly, but we're hoping to play some music and get us into the spring spirit as we move forward towards the end of the year. It's a pleasure to be here with you, of course. I am Mr. Lesniewski. I teach band 6th through 12th grade here at the Ogdenton Heights School District. And as you can see, we've got a lot of students on stage, right? I bet you never saw a percussion section with 30-some students. It's intimidating, but it's awesome at the same time. So yes, this is our second year having our advanced middle school band members, advanced 7th and 8th grade, join the high schoolers on some of their songs for their concert. And I just commended them beforehand because these 7th and 8th graders are playing high school level music. It's really impressive. So I'd like to give an extra round of applause for our 7th and 8th graders for working hard to do that. It's difficult because obviously being in two separate buildings, they haven't had a chance to rehearse this stuff together. So this is literally like the first time since our day of song back in February that we're running these songs as a full group. So it's both, I'm going into it nervous, but I think after that first song, we're going to settle in just fine. So our second song, which is also going to include them, is called Stay. And it's by the same composer from the first song. Normally I don't like to, program two pieces by the same composer, but last spring concert we did a song called Not Alone, and it's kind of a story about, the importance of music in children's lives and things like that. So this is a continuation of that story. This song is called Stay. And I just want to read the little subtitle that's on all the students' music. It says, "Stay," and it says, "Hey you, the one playing this, the world is better with you in it." And I think it's just a good message of, I think band for a lot of students is that place that, you know, we find, myself included as a student, that, you know, we fit in. It's our family. It's like we make our best friends through school and we stay with them all the way through. And even to this day, I still talk to a lot of my band family from back in the day. So this is kind of a tribute to the importance of music education, and the importance of music in students' lives. This is Stay. Okay, so our middle schoolers, our 7th and 8th graders, are leaving the stage for the moment, but they will be back, I promise. In fact, they're going to close the concert with us. So as they're coming off the stage down front over there, our high schoolers are going to readjust, and we're going to get set up for the rest of our concert here. The next song that we are going to play with just the high school members is called English Folk Song Suite. Are there any former or still current band people that have played English Folk Song Suite? Anybody? All right, I see a hand. Thank you. This is one of those staples of concert band literature, one of those songs that you have to play at least some point in your life as a concert band member. As a high school student, I played this song, and it stayed with me forever. It was one of my favorite songs of all time, so I wanted to share that with these students. It is very difficult. It's a grade 4 piece, and there are 3 movements. We're going to be doing 2 of the movements, the first and the third. They're both marches, they're both up-tempo, and there is a lot going on in them. Some catchy melodies, every instrument gets melody at one point or another, but this is Vaughan Williams' English Folk Song Suite, as we give the middle schoolers a little more time. Yeah, you can feel free to move the caution tape. There wasn't a crime scene here, everybody, just to be clear. It's what we had to use to rope off the seats here, so middle schoolers, again, feel free to sit anywhere in those sections there. Okay, thank you all so much. We are going to do one more concert selection before we switch to jazz band. And for as long as I have been conducting concerts, God, going on 16 years now. I'm getting old, guys. I don't know if I can keep this up much longer. Just kidding. Every concert I always do a selection from a video game because I'm a video game kid and never grew out of that. So we are going to do a selection of a medley of songs from the video game Undertale. Any Undertale fans in the audience? I can see a couple hands. All right, good. So we're going to do a medley of songs from Undertale, and afterwards we're going to ask the concert band members are going to go off the stage. Jazz band is going to come down front. We've got 4 songs for you down there. So the party is just beginning. Yeah, thank you. We look forward to seeing you in a little bit. This is Undertale. thank you so much. So as I said, fighting the transition. Jazz band's coming down front, and the concert band's going to come back for what I'm calling the Pops second half of the concert with all of the more familiar stuff that you're going to recognize. Hopefully, sing along to. Feel free. You got to sing along later. I hope you're all ready. So Jazz band's coming at you in 5 minutes. Thank you all. Okay, hello again, everybody. We are back down front here with our jazz bands. As you can see, our jazz band is continuing to grow, which is exciting. This is the largest jazz band I've ever worked with, and that's a great thing, yeah. Absolutely. Because as I always say, it doesn't matter what instrument you play, if you're willing to get up an hour earlier, once a week every morning to get to school and play jazz before school starts, I'm going to let you come and play jazz. So, yeah, we take every instrument. It's open to 9th and 12th grade. There's no audition to get in, so the more the merrier. We've got 4 songs for you. We're going to start with a classic. This is American Patrol. Okay, we're gonna move right along. As I always say, jazz band, I try to do something different from every genre. So that was our swing chart. Next up, we have a funk chart called Chameleon. And as with every funk chart, the main, the main melody of it is repetitive, but we have some really cool improv solos in the middle of it. The first time through is going to be Kyle Degnan on alto sax. Second time through is David Zurich on trumpet. And then the third solo is going to be Gavin Phillips on bari sax. This is Chameleon. Okay, so next up is going to be our Latin chart. As I said before to the kids, it's kind of one of those songs with a cheesy name, but one of my favorite charts I've ever done. It's called Chili Today, Hot Tamale. Yeah, funny. Thank you. Yeah. But it's a great chart. It's one of my favorites that I've ever done. It does have two solos in the middle of it. The first one is going to be Ava Holgate on trombone. And the second one is going to be Deacon Jones on tenor sax. Okay, our final jazz band selection is our blues shuffle song, and this song is called Killer on the Keys, and it is, of course, pretty much for the entire song, going to feature our very own Killer on the Keys, Hannah McLaughlin. Give it up for Hannah. So she's going to be tearing it up pretty much the entire song, so make sure you're listening for that. But we do have an open solo section in the middle of this one as well. So each student is going to take two 12-bar blues solos. The first one is going to be Adele Rogai on alto sax. And we're going to throw it back to our good pal David on trumpets. And then why not we throw it down one more time to Gavin on bass sax. And then last but certainly not least, our very own Abington Heights representative at District Jazz this year, our drum set player Brady McHugh. This is Killer on the Keys. All right, thank you so much. So we are going to transition back to concert band. We still have 4 selections for you. Again, like I said, the pop's half of the concert. I think you're going to enjoy this one even more. So just bear with us as we transition back. We're going to get the high schoolers on stage for 2 songs. We're going to call the middle schoolers back up for 2 more songs. And then that'll be it. So we'll be right back one last time. Don't go anywhere. Probably saw, but got a little taste of the band director world as the kick drum pedal broke on the drum set and we had to fix it on the fly. So Brady and I think we tag teamed it, we got it working. So if anything goes wrong, blame me, it's my fault. Okay, so we are going to continue along. The next song is called Deadpool's Playlist. Any fans of the Deadpool movies out there? Yes, absolutely, right? And the thing I love, especially with the most recent one, it's very nostalgic because they feature a lot of 90s music. And I grew up with the 90s, I love a lot of it. So this is a medley of all tunes from the Deadpool movie. It's going to feature Like a Prayer, Iris, Angel of the Morning, Bye Bye Bye, Take On Me. There's a lot of fun stuff in here, so I think you're going to like this. Okay, we're going to move right along to what I think is one of the greatest songs ever written. Any fans of Africa by Toto? Yes! Can't go wrong. And this is one of those songs where it's just amazing and it's great, and then you go to sing it at karaoke and you realize it's really high and hard to sing, and you sound a lot worse than you thought you did when you watch the video afterwards. Not talking from experience. We are going to feature the entire percussion section and the woodwind section in this. This is Africa. Okay, we are down to our final two selections, so that means advanced 7th and 8th grade, I'm going to summon you back to the stage. Please come up that side of the stage. High schoolers, find your way back to the combined seats. I'd say orderly, but it's middle school, you know. Okay, while they're coming up, let me ask, are there any Bruce Springsteen fans in the house? All right, yes, once again, So we are doing, yet again, as I bring these middle schoolers back up, this is a high school level piece. It's difficult. There is a killer alto saxophone solo lead, the whole section in this song that they are going to shred for you guys. And of course, Born to Run features like one of the greatest bass lines of all time. So you're going to hear a bass line do that, or Brady on drum set with the rest of the percussion section filling in. It's just a really, really cool arrangement. I do want to take a moment here again as they get seated to let you guys know after this we are going to be doing a short senior award ceremony. We're going to call our seniors up to the front. We have some awards for them. We're going to do one final song, and then afterwards make sure that you stop by the cafeteria for a light reception afterwards, get some desserts and talk, and there's information about marching band out there and lots of opportunities. As you can see, this group is growing and getting stronger the more and more they play together, so the more opportunities to play concert band, jazz band, marching band, it only helps us all individually. So I want to encourage you to check that out after the concert. But until then, we encourage you to sing along if you know the words. This isn't a sing-along yet, but sometimes Born to Run, you just gotta sing along to that chorus, you know? So this is Born to Run. Okay, so as I mentioned, we have a brief senior award ceremony, but our last song features our entire senior class. So seniors, I'm going to ask you guys to come up front, get your spots up front with your instruments and your stands, and then I'll do the senior awards after everyone is set up front here. as they are coming up front here, I will let you all know. I'm going to announce the name of all 12 of our seniors in concert band and jazz band. Every student will be receiving a baggie with pins that represent their years of service in the concert band, as well as the jazz band. Earlier in the year we had a marching band banquet, so they got their marching band pins then. So they will get a baggie with those, and then after everyone gets those, then I will do the individual awards. Okay, so announcing our seniors in alphabetical order by last name, and we have our helpers over on the side there. I know it's a little tight up front, so maybe, yeah, just a walkway for now. You can put your stands back in a minute. But first is Michaela Dugan. Next we have Kenzie Flynn. Ethan Grimes. So it's like that Vanna White walk when you have to flip a letter that's on the other side of the board. Next we have Liz Henkels. And then we have Ayla Holgate. Michael Clamp. Brady McHugh. Hannah McLaughlin. Anaya Mendez. Cadence Moore. Celia Sheeran. And Connor Watkins. Okay, and now for the individual awards. Normally we do these awards and I would only announce the ones where they receive like a plaque or a trophy or something tonight, but I also wanted to include the awards that will be given at the senior awards ceremony. Just because like guidance will print certificates, they will receive them then, they won't get them tonight, but I want to acknowledge them here tonight while their family and friends are here. They're not always necessarily there at that ceremony. So I thought it'd be awesome to recognize them. I told these guys beforehand, this senior class, it's always difficult to lose a senior class, but this one is especially, important to me because when they were freshmen coming up to the high school, I got hired here, so we spent all 4 years of high school together. And it meant a lot because they were moving up to the high school not expecting me. They were expecting a different director. And then I showed up and they were the ones that put up with me and stuck with me all the way through and helped build this to what it is today. So I just want to say one personal, very special thank you to all of you for the last 4 years and everything you've meant to me and to this program. Give it up for these seniors. Okay, so as I said, there are a couple awards here. The first one is the VFW Commitment to Music and Community Service Award. This award is given to a graduating senior that has displayed not only excellence in musical ability, but commitment to serving their community through unwavering dedication to the program. The award will be presented during the senior award ceremony at the end of the school year, but I would like to recognize her tonight. Give it up for Kenzie Flynn. The second one is the Semper Fidelis Award for Musical Excellence. With the translation being always faithful, this award is presented to one male and one female graduating senior that has demonstrated both superior playing ability and has been exceedingly faithful to their program. This award will be presented during the senior award ceremony at the end of the school year. The female recipient is Cadence Moore. And the male recipient is Brady McHugh. I'll shake your hand. I don't have the award yet, but... All right, give it up for that. Okay, this one we do have an award for, and this will be a giveaway as soon as I read the title of it, but this is the Frederick Chopin Piano Award. The Frederick Chopin Award was first started in 1964 to honor outstanding pianists in the high school music program. It recognizes exceptional dedication and superior musicianship. This award goes to Hannah McLaughlin. Next up, we have the Louis Armstrong Jazz Award. The Louis Armstrong Award is the top jazz award available to high school students in the United States. It is given in recognition of outstanding musical achievement and an incredible dedication to the jazz program. The recipient is Brady McHugh. The Director's Award for Band. The Director's Award for Band is awarded to a student who displays high qualities of dedication and conduct and is presented in recognition of the student's outstanding musical contributions to every available ensemble, including concert, jazz, and marching band. This year's recipient is Michael Clamp. Next up, we have the Director's Marching Band Award. The Director's Award for Marching Band is an award presented to outstanding band members in recognition of their dedication, conduct, and contributions to the marching program. It honors the musical contributions and dedication of a student leader whose example inspires others. This award will be presented during the senior award ceremony at the end of the school year, and a nameplate will be hung on the plaque in the music hallway. And I don't think there's anyone that's looked up to as much as our very own percussion section leader, Ethan Graves. Next up, we have the National Band Leadership Award. The National Band Leadership Award recognizes a student who takes a generous and selfless approach to serving the band. This award honors a student who has demonstrated superior musicianship, leadership, dependability, loyalty, and cooperation both in and out of the program. This year, the award goes to one of our senior drum majors, Celia Sheeran. Celia Sheeran, in the back. We took it out. So I sent it out to be, labeled, and I spelled her name right, and they inscribed it wrong. So I am sorry, but I promise we're going to get it fixed. So, all right, last two. Second to last is the Patrick S. Gilmore Band Award. The Patrick Gilmore Award is given to a senior band member who displays excellence in loyalty, cooperation, leadership, dependability, and musicianship. It also serves to recognize the participation in events outside of the required schedule. This award is presented to Elizabeth Hankels. And last but not least, the John Philip Sousa Band Award. This is the pinnacle of achievement in a high school band program. The John Philip Sousa Award has become a nationwide symbol of excellence in musical achievement. Here at Abington Heights, we honor our most deserving band member each year by presenting them with the John Philip Sousa Award. We believe that the Sousa Award recognizes the student that best displays all of the qualities that the director strives to develop in all students. This is presented to Ayla Holgate. our seniors for everything they've done for the program. Okay, so we are finally at the last selection. I know these concerts always. Hey, whoa! Hey, no, yeah, I promise I won't forget you. I won't forget you, I promise. I know these always run a little bit longer in the spring. I hope you don't mind. I hope you've enjoyed the evening or the afternoon and enjoyed the music. Before we do our last selection, I of course want to say thank you to everyone who makes this possible. I know it's cliche, but you can't have a strong music program without an administration that backs you. So all the way from our superintendent, Dr. Schaefer, all the way through to our high school administration, our middle school administration, my fellow music directors that support our program. There's so many, they're all listed on the back of the program. It's not possible without them. So thank them. You know, if you see them, thank you for supporting our program and making this possible. Of course, to our light and sound crew, I know Ms. Cocker's up there with some of the students running the light and sound, so thank you guys for making this possible as well. Give it up for them. I should say our band booster organization that saves my life just about every other day. With everything that goes on, I couldn't possibly do this without them. They're supportive, they are go-getters, they want this program to be the best that it could be, and as a director, there's nothing more you can ask for. So I just want to thank them, as well as pass the microphone along to them, because they have a couple quick announcements before our last song as well. So as I pass it down, give it up for our band booster organization.
Good afternoon, I'm Tamsin Reese, and I'm up here with Susan Duckworth. We are the co-presidents of this year's Band Booster organization.
Before we continue tonight's performance, we'd like to take a moment to recognize somebody very special, Mr. Mike Lesneski. Mr. Lesneski is a part of the Abington Heights Band program. He leads the concert band at both the middle school and high school, directs the jazz band and the marching band, and heads up the pit orchestra for our high school musicals. He also prepares our students for district and regional competitions, parades, festivals, and so much more, all the while handling the endless planning and behind-the-scenes work it takes to keep the program thriving. Mr. Lesneski is not only a gifted musician and teacher, he is a mentor, a leader, and a constant source of encouragement and inspiration to our students. His passion, his dedication, and his belief in our kids have made the Abington Heights Band program the best in the area. We are so grateful for everything he pours into the program every single day. Thank you, Mr. Allen. We would also like to recognize somebody very important behind the scenes, Barbie Lesneski, his wife. Barbie, will you please stand? Barbie, thank you for being Mike's biggest supporter and so generously sharing him with us. We know how much time and heart this program demands, and we are truly grateful for your love and encouragement that make it all possible.
And she doesn't know we're going to do this, but if Catherine Splovin is in the audience, if you could stand up, please. Catherine. There she is. Catherine, you're clapping, I didn't know what she did. So nice. Catherine was the treasurer of our booster organization this year, and beyond the finances, Catherine was there for every event, every fundraising event, everything we did all through the marching band, the fall area, and her dedication, her dependability, her energy, and her kindness have just been fantastic. So her daughter Liz is a senior, so she won't be with us next year. But Catherine does have a 5th grader coming up, Andrew, so hopefully we'll see her back in the booster organization. So again, to Catherine, Mr. L, Barbie, and all of the boosters, we really appreciate your support and what you bring to not only our students, but our community. Thank you.
Okay, so here we are, final selection. This is entitled At a Dixieland Jazz Funeral, and that may seem like an odd choice to end the concert, but let me just quickly explain. Anyone who's familiar with the funeral process in like New Orleans or like the Dixieland style, the song starts out just like the ceremony would. It's solemn, it's kind of a processional, it's slow, and it's kind of in recognition of all of the achievements. Again, kind of equating it to the seniors, everything we've been through the last 4 years, reminiscing on all the good times and everything that we've accomplished together. And then it just turns into a huge party, and it's going to turn into like a street style Dixieland jazz combo, except it's going to be all of our seniors all taking solos at the same time. We're partying, we're going to be turning around singing. This is where you've got to sing when the Saints go marching in. So when I turn around, you've got to sing with us, okay? And then that's it. That's our big celebration, our send-off as we send them off to the next chapters of their lives, and hopefully always keeping a music part of their lives, but if not, hopefully always reminiscing about the great times we had here. So thank you all so much. Don't forget to stop by the cafeteria. Thank our administrators for making this possible. And don't forget to check out the rest of the concerts through the spring. Orchestra, high school orchestra is next Sunday. Don't forget to check that out. Choirs 2 weeks after that. Also, anyone on stage right here who is involved with Keystone, raise your hand. We have a ton of our members that have a concert tonight at Keystone College, free, 7 o'clock. Go check it out. They're going right from here to go play another concert, so it's impressive. So we hope to see you sometime soon. Have a great spring and summer ahead, and we'll see you in the near future. Thank you. Thank you all again so much. Have a great afternoon. Drive safe. And I'll see you sometime soon. Thank you. Seniors, don't go anywhere. We're going to get a quick picture of all the seniors first, if we can switch towards the middle.